This is a video about a Mexican architect of German descent who died in Paris but came to New York and designed some really interesting buildings in Brooklyn. Rudolph Daus. Rudolph Daus was born in 1854. Later on I read that he was in ill health, so he died at age 62 in 1916 in Paris. And these are a few examples of some of his interesting work. He did a variety of work. He designed an armory, the front of an armory in Bedford-Stuyvesant. He also designed a Republican Party club in Bedford-Stuyvesant called the Lincoln Club, which is pictured on the right. And then below, he designed two buildings, including this one, for the New York and New Jersey Telephone and Telegraph Company. So the one in downtown Brooklyn is really good sized, and the second one that I'll show you in Bed-Stuy is really a charmer. It's a small building, but it's really eye-catching. So I'm going to show you the videos of his projects in Brooklyn in chronological order. This is just something you see once in a while in Prospect Heights and Park Slope. So this is a rather standard looking set of 4 brownstone townhouses designed by Rudolphe Daus in 1885, thereabouts. And I like the next one down, 201, the way that comes out. That's beautiful. So this is one of his more standard issue type projects, and this last one is being worked on. Looks like it's getting a total gut renovation. This is the former Lincoln Club at 65 Putnam Avenue in Bed-Stuy / Crown Heights. And I guess it used to be a real Republican Party hangout, one of many clubs in Brooklyn. And now it's the world headquarters building of the Independent United Order of Mechanics. You almost wonder whether that's really a going thing or that sign is left over from something else. So it's tough to tell whether the upper floors are really occupied. They have air conditioning units in them. But this just shows you, looking west, that high-rise being built is right on the corner of the Atlantic Yards development where Barclays Arena is. And then this is looking east down Putnam. We're just north of Fulton Street, and here's some of the other brownstones and what used to be brownstones in the neighborhood. This was designed by Rudolph Daus and built in 1886, Queen Anne style. Standing here just a little bit longer, you see like cracks in the front porch. So it's definitely in need of repairs. But 1889. There it is right there, Lincoln Club LC. Looking across Halsey Street, 74 Halsey, Rudolph Daus, 1886. And Suzanne Spellin describes this house as a wonderful mixture. And it sure is, it really stands out on this block. Some typical brownstones to the right, to the west. And then these row houses we've covered in another video. I can't remember which architect it was who designed those. Could be George Chappelle. And then Montrose Morris's Alhambra Apartments here to the east at Nostrand Avenue. So let's walk down here so we can see it a little better. Rudolphe Daus, 74 Halsey Street, 1886. Here's two Rudolphe Daus houses on St. John's Place, 176 and 178. And they stand out in a row of brownstones for as far as the eye can see. So you can see that they make their mark, and they were built in 1888. Rudolphe Daus designed this house on Montgomery Place, 47 Montgomery Place. And it was built in 1890. It's described as being a Loire Valley chateau, French Renaissance revival. And this is on a block that's amongst many houses designed by another architect, Charles Pierpont Henry Gilbert, here in Park Slope. We're on 4th Street between 7th and 6th Avenues, walking down the slope of Park Slope, and from 426 4th here on the south side of the street at the east end, we're walking west, and all of these houses were designed by Rudolphe Daus, 1891.
Hi, my name is Joey.
Hey, Joey.
Hi.
Joey from Brooklyn. And what a great commission that was for him. Now these are great, and they're set back a little bit from the street too, which is nice. And there's a lot of variation. And 4th Street is just a great street. I just walked down 4th from 8th Avenue, and the block between 7th and 8th on the north side of the street was also fantastic. These are fantastic though. Let's focus on them. I really like the sort of ochre tinged terracotta up high and a deeper orange this way. I wish we had the sunlight shining on this, but you get the idea. So we're only like half the way down. We're at 410, 408. Rudolphe Daus, 1891. And some of these appear to be a little wider. And we'll finally get down into the 300s here. Had a lot of snow. I'm picking the one non-snowy / rainy day this week. Look at some of the houses across the street. I'm back to Rudolphe Daus. So we had no snow in January, but right on February 1st we got dumped on with a couple of feet of snow. We've had another snowstorm since then, and they're predicting more later this week. So The snow is piling up here in Brooklyn and in the whole New York tri-state area. All right, we're almost to the end. Some stained glass there. That might be more recent though. And this might be the end here. Let's see. 386. Now we got two more to 382. Everyone is beautiful. Here's the end of Rudolphe Daus on 4th Street in Park Slope, Brooklyn. Take one more look from across the street. Here we'll go back from west to east, up the slope. I'll pan around a little bit so you can get an idea of the streetscape. And here's a group of 4 houses here. I'm sure they're designed by one of our name architects. Just don't know. It's requires a lot of research. And I think I've mentioned in another video, when they do an historic designation report for a neighborhood such as Park Slope, they'll go through and try to find out who the architect was for each of the houses, which is a monumental task. They left their mark, but they didn't leave a lot of paperwork. But this is Rudolphe Daus's mark on Park Slope. Looking back up to the end. Rudolphe Daus. It's the trouble with beautiful architecture, you just can't stop looking at it. So I'm looking at it with another camera. Fortunately, there's not much traffic noise on this street. And I just wanted to focus in a little bit more on the top level of some of these houses with the ochre tinged terracotta. Great block to live on, 4th Street, Park Slope. The original armory was designed by Rudolphe Daus. We're walking west down Jefferson Avenue in Bed-Stuy. And then the Parfit brothers designed an extension. And could this be the whole extension, this whole long part? Let me just get the years. Daus, his part was in the 1800s, 1894, and the Parfit brothers designed the extension in 1906. That's when that was built. So it could be a case where the extension is way bigger than the original. Let's see, here's some of the brownstones on Jefferson Avenue here. We're just east of Marcus Garvey Boulevard. Roof is in good shape. Scaffolding around the front. It's holding up pretty well for an 1894 building, which is not that old, really. It's a real tower there. So this, I talked about it elsewhere, the 23rd Regiment Armory. So this is the 13th. And I don't know how the numbering scheme goes. I don't really understand why they built so many armories, especially in Brooklyn. It's for the National Guard, I guess, to train at. But I'll bet you there's not a whole lot of people in the National Guard from Brooklyn like there maybe used to be. So when we get across the street, we'll get a better vantage point. Alright. Looking south down Marcus Garvey. So this had to be the part designed by Rudolphe Daus in 1894. The Parker brothers just wanted to work, so they didn't mind building an extension to another architect's original design. Parker brothers were prolific. And we'll just walk up to Putnam Avenue, which I keep seeing, but I don't have any houses on Putnam to record. So this is 357 Marcus Garvey Boulevard between Jefferson and Putnam Avenues in Bed-Stuy. Rudolphe Daus, 1894. This is the former New York and New Jersey Telephone Company building at 81 Willoughby Street at Lawrence Street in downtown Brooklyn. It was built in 1898, designed by Rudolphe Daus, D-A-U-S. And it's got a lot of ornamentation on it that has to do with telephones. I'm looking for things. There's supposedly like bells and other things that have to do with the telephone company. And until recently, it's been site, at least on the ground floor, of ASA College, but I see they have a for lease sign, so I think they've pulled out of there. And it's one of the few older buildings in downtown Brooklyn that are significant architecturally, but it really is significant. It's got the copper cornice along the top, and let's walk back this way. You can see some new high-rises in downtown Brooklyn that actually are much needed, because there was not a lot to say for the architecture of downtown Brooklyn. And this, on Lawrence Street, it's also called Helen Keller Place. So I'd have to do a little research to see if she used to live on this street, Lawrence Street. And there's a subway. That's a great view of it. 81 Willoughby. With the arches and the round window. And Rudolphe Daus is interesting. He was born in Mexico City, of German descent, and he died in Paris, so he got around, but he came to Brooklyn like other architects of the Brooklyn School from foreign countries or other parts of the US, and to make his mark. And we'll look at some of his other buildings. There's the subway station that you can take to get here, and it does say telephone building on the side. And unfortunately, it's like in many buildings, it just seems to have a permanent scaffolding sidewalk shed in front of the building.
that they erect ostensibly so that they can inspect the building for structural integrity. But the scaffolds tend to be set up and then they'll just sit there for years and you don't see any activity. So anyway, beautiful building here in downtown Brooklyn. I should add that the AIA guide describes this style of architecture as Beaux-Arts Renaissance Revival. That's a mouthful. Here's what I'm looking for. The New York and New Jersey Telephone Company office and switching station, designed by Rudolphe Daus in 1910. It was built, and I'd been here before and seen the apartment house, to see the apartment house right next door on Decatur Street, designed by Montrose Morris. And then I was looking at this building and I go, wow, who designed that? And then I later found out it was Rudolphe Daus. So it's not huge, but it's beautiful. It's like the building by Alonzo B. Jones in Greenpoint, with the huge arches and the ornamentation. And I'm gonna walk right over by it. That apartment building by Montrose Morris is the Claremont, which is in one of the Montrose Morris videos. So this has been used as offices, and I've heard that they're going to convert it to residential. But we'll see. Rudolphe Daus, 1910. And the address is right here, underneath the scaffolding. It's at 613 619 Throop Avenue at Decatur Street in Bed-Stuy. This house was designed in 1909 by Rudolphe Daus for the president of the Ulmer Brewery in Bushwick. It's at 101 8th Avenue in Park Slope at President Street. Daus and Otto were the architects, Rudolphe Daus.